and it takes all the bad fluid out and put clean fluid in, just to keep the kidneys washed.
So you were able to eat more and drink more because of that.
You can eat anything and drink anything.
Jealousy. I'm jealous.
It was great for 3 years, but it extends your stomach. It makes your stomach kind of big.
Protrudes, huh?
Yes, protrude very big. And the bad thing is that I don't know why I got an infection in my navel. And the regular doctors couldn't help me. And it made a hole in the navel where the fluid that was in my stomach just leak out.
Remember that.
Fiercely and scary. So after a while, I couldn't take it anymore. I went to the emergency. And the emergency room gave me a cream. And it healed up just like that.
Cleaned it up?
Yes, I got off immediately.
Sometimes you got to just get a different doctor or a second opinion or
Exactly.
extra help or something.
But I got off because that scared me. You know, so I have 3 holes now, the navel and the other 2 holes, and they healed up. Thank God, they healed up.
Well, thank God you got a fistula. Well, I must say that you are a real trooper, and you know you had undergo No, I'm serious. You undergo so many operations on both arms. I was thanking God that you was able to get a fistula from what our sisters telling me.
I prayed about it, and I asked God to send me someone. Yes, I did have my faith. Send me someone to give me a fistula, because a doctor wanted to give me a fistula, and he said, don't let nobody touch my good arm, and I did, and he was upset. And he said I could never have a fistula. I cried for maybe a week.
Oh, so you know God turns things around.
So he turned it around for me because I prayed about it. I kept my faith, and I have a fistula.
Wow. Now, if you can say anything to anybody, a dialysis patient, peritoneal, anybody, even a working person out there, whatever you could say to them, what would you say before I call John Bravo Sr. here?
Well, what I would like to say is that, you know, sometimes you can't help what hand is played to you, okay? But what you have to do is learn about your illness and try to take care of yourself, because you have other family members that love you and want you. So the only thing you got to do is fight. Be a fighter. Fight for yourself, fight for your kids, and fight to live. That's what I say. Peritoneal or hemodialysis, whatever you may have, diabetes, just fight and pray, and God will pull you through.
Very good. I like that. I ain't mad at you, girl. I ain't mad at you.
I appreciate that you have me on your show. Even though we sisters, I didn't have to be here, sitting here with you, and I appreciate it. And God bless you to do more.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you too.
We're gonna pause a minute, and we're gonna call John in, and we're gonna talk to John and ask him just a couple of questions.
Okay.
All right?
Yes.
All right. You sit back in the cut, relax and enjoy yourself. We'll take good care of you.
You have any food over there? Okay.
Something. Now we have my brother-in-law, Juan Bravo Sr. So I done had D. Simone, your girl, and I had Juan, your son.
Yes.
So now I have you, and I would like to ask you just a few questions, just between family and the viewers. How has this affected your relationship with D. Simone? Because you've been with D. Simone a good while now.
Well, it's been very difficult. It's affected the relationship. In many ways, it's made the relationship tighter. Because when you love a person and you care for a person,
yes,
you put all your effort into helping that person when they're having difficulty.
Yes.
And God knows when you're on dialysis, you have many different difficulties.
Yes, I know.
And I've been working through it. There's a lot of things that I had to learn about dialysis.
Yes.
New things that I'd never heard of before. such as she had mentioned the peritoneal. I never knew there was such a procedure until it happened to my mate.
Yes.
That she had to go through that, and I had to learn about the peritoneal. I had to learn how to work the machine somewhat. I had to be knowledgeable. I had to learn to be knowledgeable about these things because they're very, very serious circumstances that I had to be aware of. And I did my best to learn, and I was able to get through everything except what she had mentioned earlier, and that's the infections.
Oh yeah, the infections are serious.
Yeah, the infections are very serious,
Yes.
and when she went through the difficulties, I went through the difficulties because to see her hurting, to see her in pain,
Yes.
it put me in pain
Yes.
because I felt helpless at times.
Sure.
But I didn't feel helpless all the time. There's many times I was able to help her.
Yes. I've seen you in action.
But the times that when it's strictly a high-level medical situation, like we mentioned, the infections, that's a high-level medical situation that only a doctor can deal with. A husband can't do much in a circumstance like that except make sure that the mate is comfortable and they have the proper food. And
Which I know you cook her meals.
Yes, and take their medications on time and things of that nature.
And sometimes you pick her up and take her to dialysis as well.
All the time. I get up at 4:15 when that bell rings, and I get ready for dialysis. And it's a learning process.
Sure.
It's a learning process because you start learning that you have to have routines. When you're on dialysis, you have to have routines. The routines of getting up early in the morning.
Sure.
Routines of when you pick your mate up, you have to be aware that they're weak after dialysis.
Okay.
You can't strain the person. Preferably, if you can, you lay them down and put them to rest and let them get some rest and recover because dialysis takes a lot. Even though it helps an individual, it takes a lot out of an individual.
Sure.
Sitting there for 3 hours and having that machine transfer the blood back and forth and cleanse it and cleanse the kidney, it leaves the person weak, and you have to be aware of these things, and you have to know how to help the person.
Yeah, because she might cramp, maybe low blood pressure.
Yes.
Different things happen on the machine. They said we can have heart attacks on the machine. I passed out on the machine.
Yes.
So, yeah.
She's had low blood pressure. As a matter of fact, funny thing you mentioned that just last week's treatment, she had that problem that they wouldn't let her leave the facility until her blood pressure had gone up, and it didn't want to go up.
Well, that's a rule. That happened to me plenty of time when Mitch had to come and get me, which is my husband. He, they have to either give you saline or give you some sort of broth or give you something to help raise it up. And usually, like, I have to take popcorn with me. I have to take white cheddar popcorn to keep it up, or I have to eat a pickle. I remember a doctor gave me an olive to suck on. I don't like olives, but he made me suck on it, and I was just going for a checkup at the time. But I told him I walk around with low blood pressure. I think being on dialysis so long, you just stay at a certain thing, because the 90s is normal for me. Mine, that's below, but it's 90s over 60 is normal. 94, 90 something over 60 is normal for me.
Okay.
All right, but you also have taken classes to give these hemodialysis at home.
Yes, actually, at one time, I had trained to be a tech, to actually do the whole process the same as a technician would do at dialysis.
Right.
Okay, I spent 3 months doing it and learning the ins and outs and learning about the machine itself, and also learning how to administer medication through a hypodermic needle into the machine so it can go into her body to give her whatever she needs.
Okay.
I had a very big learning process I went through with the dialysis. It gave me a lot of knowledge that when I speak to people, I know what I'm talking about. And most important of all, what this training did for me, being a tech in dialysis,
Yes.
It trained me that when I go to the facility to pick up my wife and I see something, I know if it's right and I know if it's wrong.
That's good. Well, you're an advocate. I know for her.
To bring it up to the administration there, or to bring it up to the RN, or bring it up to the doctor. Why is this such and such?
Yeah.
This level that she's at here on the machine, that's too high or it's too low.
Yeah.
I've learned to recognize things. So they just can't sweep me under the rug anymore like when I first started out with dialysis.
Yeah.
And I think that's very, very important for any husband or any wife that may have a husband on dialysis, or if the wife is on dialysis, that they know these things, because many times they're very busy in a facility, and it's very easy to be overlooked. Not intentionally that they want to do it, but sometimes the nurse is so swamped with work that she may not notice certain things. So it's important that an individual knows that when he looks, he can recognize the right from wrong and try to correct these things.
Well, they are dealing with a lot of people, and some mistakes can be made, but it's a life thing that they're doing, and they, you got to pay attention and do right. But some things get slipped under, some things get passed by. But most of the time, I know she's at a good center. I'm at a pretty good center myself. But things do happen, and I, as an advocate, I do address them.
Absolutely.
Especially since my brother died on the machine, I address things, and I do talk up, and I do think, and I do listen. But I appreciate you talking to me about the relationship.
Yes.
I appreciate you coming on here and saying these things to help other people out, because you don't know what relationship you might be helping. You don't know what person you might be helping. So I'm glad that you didn't mind having a microscope on you or speaking out.
Okay, and I appreciate you having me on this show, and I appreciate the fact that you put this on the screen and broadcasting it and educating the populace out there with family members that may have this difficulty with dialysis, and broaden the horizons for them. And thank you so much.
Oh, well,
thank you so much.
I thank you. Now there you have it. This is Lisa Baxter, your girl around town, giving it all to you on the 411 about dialysis and kidney failure. Take care of your kidneys, and they will take care of you.